So here's this. This is the Yankees quarter century team, as by myself and the great Daniel Bobo Curlin. So basically, if you're not familiar with this concept, basically it's self-explanatory, but just to throw it out there, obviously we are in 2025 right now. The century started in the year 2000. So any players from or the best of the best for the Yankees and eventually the Mets we're going to do. But the Yankees right now, best of the best from the year 2000 until this current season, 2025. So, and obviously there's a whole list of factors that go in there, guys that have been around longer and established themselves, everything along
exactly.
those.
The Yankee one was hard because I haven't really seen much postseason success, I feel like, for the Yankees during a quarter century. I feel like, aside from 2009, this one was kind of hard because I feel like
some of these also forgetting 2000.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like most of these were like the 2000 were like part of that Yankee dynasty that still kind of bled into the quarter century.
Yeah, but you also remember too, the Yankees not only have been to, or they've won 2 World Series in this century too. They've also been there in 2003. They got there in 2024 last year. So the Yankees have been to 4 World Series. The Yankees have won 2. Actually 5, including the 01 World Series. Forgot about that. So, so the Yankees have actually been to 5 World Series in this century. But you're right. There's a lot to choose from. There's a lot of different ways that you could have gone with this Yankees team. And me and you, it seems like for the most part, except for a couple of little tweaks, me and you were pretty much on point, especially catcher and infield. So let's keep it going. Right now, we'll start off with the catcher. And Dan, I think it was pretty much a slam dunk that we had to go with Yankee switch hitting catcher Jorge Posada, the guy, one of the best catchers in the last 30 years. I got to give the guy credit. Maybe not from a defensive standpoint, but definitely offensively. Switch hitting, he had 287 home runs. This is a guy that, when he came into the league, I really didn't think much of Jorge Posada. I thought Jorge Posada was a light hitting backup catcher, and then I guess that's what he broke in the league as. But then this guy just turned himself into one of the best catchers in the league. In fact, hit 338 one year as a catcher. Just goes to show how good this guy Posada is. And Dan, we got to just give him his flowers because he is definitely the pick for Yankees catcher on the quarter century team.
Yeah, definitely. I have to say that definitely we agree with that about Jorge Posada.
Yeah. Any specific memories about Posada that you want to refer to?
I don't know if I could really per se the memories, but I just feel like he had a couple of clutch moments.
The one thing I remember when Posada, and this is prior to the 2000 season, so but it doesn't really matter because it still is incorporated. But I did not think Posada was a viable offensive threat until July 10th, 1999, at Shea Stadium. Me and you were both at this game, not together, but the Matt Franco game against the Yankees. Me and you were there. Mets end up winning 9-8, beating Mariano Rivera in the bottom of the 9th inning. However, in the 8th, to put them ahead, after Mike Piazza had hit a 3-run shot to put the Mets up 7-6 in the 7th, Jorge Posada came up and hit a 2-run shot in the 8th to put the Yankees back on top 8-7. So that'll always stick out in my head.
Yep, that game, I think I may have dropped a couple of 17-year-old Bobo may have been dropping a couple of F-bombs in the mezzanine level of Shea Stadium when that happened.
Yeah, I think 12-year-old Cramer was dropping a couple of F-bombs there too, my friend. So, no doubt about it.
Exactly. Exactly. And for those who don't remember, the mezzanine level, those are the green seats. Those are the green seats of Shea Stadium back then.
Yes. I believe I was in Loge that day. I'm not sure. The blue seats.
If you were in Loge, you were sitting in the blue seats.
Yeah, the blue seats, like I said, yeah. All right, let's keep it rolling along here, Dan. As the first base we are getting to now, me and you once again agree. And there's really only a couple of choices you could have gone with. Me and you both went with 2009 World Series champion Mark Teixeira, who ended up playing with the team up until the 2016 season. So he had a good run. He played out the full length of that 7-year deal he signed to come with the Yankees as a free agent. Dan, let me get your opinion because it was pretty much a slam dunk on Jorge Posada. But with Teixeira, I think me and you both factored in the championship. We both factored in, obviously, how good he was in clutch as a switch hitter. And he was probably one of the best defensive first basemen that I've ever seen. Obviously, I'm a little bit too young to remember Keith Hernandez, but Mark Teixeira was right up there, Dan. And the other guys we could have gone with, though, would be Jason Giambi and Tino Martinez. So I just felt that, Tino wasn't there long enough this quarter century, and I felt like Giambi never won a championship. It kind of bottomed out. So that's why I went with Teixeira. Why did you go with Mark Teixeira over those two guys?
I feel like when it came to first baseman, he had kind of one of some of the most clutch moments as a first baseman, and his defensiveness, and maybe the fact he was a key player in one of the biggest moments in the quarter century for the Yankees, the 2009 season.
Yeah, it's true. He was a big part of that, no doubt about it. Especially his defense there in the postseason. He didn't really hit too much in the playoffs, but his bat helped get them there, no doubt about it, and his defense helped seal the deal. So all the credit in the world to Mark Teixeira there. And once again, me and you, this is going to be a theme for the infield, everybody, as me and you, once again, on the same page. I don't really know where else we could have gone with this one. It had to be Robinson Cano for second base. Who else could we have even possibly gone with, Dan?
Yeah, I feel like Cano just had he was maybe the most notable second baseman just by default, because I haven't really seen much with the Yankees second base. I feel like he's pretty much he's the guy that had some big moments during his time with the Yankees. Even though maybe sometimes they kind of questioned how much of those were legit when you found out some of the stuff that came out.
True.
Maybe,
but
maybe
even so, you got to give him credit for it. Even though you're right, it might be a little tainted with the steroid stuff that we even found out as he got suspended as a Met with that. But you still, I mean, they're really, you can't argue because obviously we both put, our next pick for third base kind of fell into that a little bit too, So even though the steroid stuff is there, it's still got to be Cano, because the only other guys I could even think of would be DJ LeMahieu or Alfonso Soriano. And Soriano wasn't really there too much. He ended up getting traded for A-Rod. And LeMahieu had a couple of really good years, but kind of fell off. But, Robinson Cano had a long, from 2005 until 2013, he dominated at second base as a Yankee,
Yeah, exactly. He just dominated at second base. He was one of the hugest, biggest stars and one of the biggest homegrown Yankees during the quarter century.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So Robinson Cano takes home that one. And before we continue on, I want to give a shout out. iRock. Hey, this is a guy that's been on the chat before. Giving a shout out to Sir
hello,
Daniel.
Hello, iRock, who's interesting picture he's using from the Queens Baseball Convention when they won that Mets trivia contest. They do that every year. They do this every year at the Queens Baseball Convention, that trivia contest, and usually they got like a neat prize for the winner. They do that. That year, I was lucky enough to be the one that raised my hand and got picked to do it. So they have this belt that you could have like a little photo op belt every year. So because naturally I won, I got to take a picture with that belt. And the prize that I won is still one of the neatest prizes I got. A baseball signed by Mets broadcasters Gary, Keith, and Ron.
Very cool. Very cool. iRock, comment? And I'm glad you got that. And let's see. Also, let's see. Okay, I lost my thing here. All right, so we got the Cano out of the way. Third base had to be A-Rod. I mean, I guess unless you're going to say the half a season of Aaron Boone or a couple of really putrid seasons out of Chase Headley, might change somebody's mind. But I think it's A-Rod, and it's not even close, right?
Yeah. A-Rod had some big moments, especially when it got to the 2009 season. Before that, people were questioning A-Rod. I would hear Yankee fans calling in when I was listening to WFAN. Whenever Yankee fans were calling in, they were bashing A-Rod like crazy. But somehow in 2009, he just showed his worth, and he answered the call and had some big moments that played into one of the biggest moments the Yankees had in the quarter century.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And he was the guy that carried them there in that playoffs, man. No doubt about it.
And and probably eventually needs to earn a monument in Monument Park, you could argue.
Yeah, yeah. I want to say too, this is a great point by our buddy PhD, who always hangs out in the chat with us, saying Scott Brocious. I believe you do have it right, actually. But yeah, it's Scott Brocious. That's a good one. Um, he only played with the Yankees until 2001. So in the quarter
And
century, it would be 2000 and 2001. So I think that's kind of why, if it went back to 98 when he had that great year and hit 300 and won the World Series MVP, then I'd be a little bit more open to it. But I think with
but
that, it's a slam dunk A-Rod, right?
yeah, exactly. I was thinking of Scott Brocious, but because he was around a little bit during the quarter century, but I feel like he was more before the quarter century. His
Yeah,
big mo his biggest time moments with the Yankees.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, but yeah, so oh, and PhD say forgot the cutoff. My bad. Don't worry about it, buddy. Thanks for the comment. We appreciate it. And so we had this other guy. Nobody, me and you both said it, but nobody even knows who this guy is. Shortstop. This guy, Derek Jeter. I don't know. I guess he's pretty good. What do you have? 3,300 hits.
I, I mean, this one, I'm not the most biggest Yankee expert for. When I had to do this, but before he goes junior, this one was the easiest one to come up with a quarter century with the Yankees. This was the easiest one because
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest Yankee Arena Met fan, so I had to go through a panel of Yankee fans that I knew, relatives, friends that were Yankee fans. I had to have to talk to come up with this. So it was a panel. It was a panel of of, of Yankee fans I had to go through to create this quarter century to do this one. But that one, without a doubt, is a slam dunk. Derek Jeter, probably for his, especially during that time, one of the most notable players on the Yankees. There's a
Oh, yeah.
generation that people that are alive at this time, when people ask them about, when they ask Yankee fans who were alive during that time, Jeter is that without a doubt going to be one of the first names they're going to mention when they mention the players that they remember from that time.
Agreed, man. Agreed. So, as you see, hanging out in the chat too, Lee Slater, who always pops in every week for us. Thanks for hanging out, Lee. And she said, yeah, it's got to be Jeter for shortstop. So she's 100% right about that. And let's see. So we got Jeter down. We're moving to the outfield now, as me and you both had Hideki Matsui. I did take because you did have him flipped over, but you'll see. I have who you have in there. But left field, Matsui, we went from the 2000 World Series MVP to now the 2009 World Series MVP. You cannot underestimate how good Hideki Matsui was with the Yankees.
Yeah, he had some great years with the Yankees, and I feel like he probably could have been. I feel like if Matsui played his entire career in MLB, he would have probably been Hall of Fame because I feel like he
Yeah.
spent half. I feel like half his prime was in Japan, so he only really had half his prime in MLB. Could you
Yeah.
imagine the numbers he could have put up had he played his entire career in MLB?
Yeah, especially like his young 20s and everything when he was first breaking in. You're right. You're right. Because when he came over to the U.S., he had a lot of miles on him, and the Yankees still got a good 6 or 7 years out of him. So shout out to Hideki Matsui, the 2009 World Series MVP, where he
Yep.
hit 625 that World Series. Not 3, not 4, not 525. He hit 625 in that World Series. And I'm not looking at any stats right now. I just remember that because that's how insane it was.
Yeah, exactly. And I forgot if he has a monument in Monument Park. Probably, if you're looking at Yankees that don't have monuments yet, that should have a monument in the Monument Park or the Monument Garden. He definitely needs to be on that list eventually.
Yeah,
He needs to have a monument in Monument Park down the line.
It's true. Now this is going to be the first one where me and you disagree, and it's not even necessarily that I think that your pick is incorrect, because you probably have the pick that a lot of people are going to put, but it's going to be center field. Bobo is going with Bernie Williams, who is phenomenal, one of the great Yankees of all time, no doubt about it. But I'm taking a lesser known pick in Brett Gardner, mainly because Gardner, Bernie only played for the Yankees this quarter century from 2000 to 2006. Brett Gardner, on the other hand, played a long time for the Yankees, over a decade. In this quarter century, he was their primary center fielder between his defense and stealing bases and everything. And he was also on that 2009 World Series championship team. Um, Dan, it's splitting hairs with these guys. And if you're going to talk about the greater Yankee overall, it's obviously Bernie Williams. But I did want to give a little credit to Brett Gardner during this, though.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I really flipped a coin flip on this one because I really didn't know what to go with because I just randomly went with Bernie Williams. I ended up going.
Yeah, I don't blame you. There you go, Brett the Hitman. He's right about that, no doubt about it. And if you put an S in front of Hitman there, then you get my opinion on Brett the Hitman. But that's just ripping a line off from the great Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yep, exactly.
But all right, so Bobo has Bernie Williams in center field, and I got Brett Gardner. That's the first one that we disagreed on. But however, we're gonna go with right field now.
This one was easy. This one was too easy. I feel like
I don't know, Dan. I was thinking about picking Kareem Garcia.
but very funny. But yeah, this one was I feel like very easy. That I feel like Yankee fans who are alive during this quarter century, years from now, without a doubt, they'll be mentioning Aaron Judge when they mention players they remember for this era. They will without a doubt be mentioning. I feel like Aaron Judge is going to be a player that they'll mention.
The only thing he needs is a championship. Because if he wins a championship, he goes into the category of Derek Jeter, Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, all those guys, all the greats, Reggie Jackson, any great you want to put on that Yankee list, you could add him to that list. However, if he doesn't win a championship, he becomes just another one of the few Yankees that were great, like Don Mattingly, but didn't actually win a championship.
Yeah, exactly. But without a doubt, when you look at the last couple of years, he's definitely a name that you had to put there with right field.
Oh, it's Aaron Judge. Slam dunk. No doubt about it. So let's keep it rolling on here, Dan. For the designated hitter now, Bobo, you picked Curtis Granderson, and I took Giancarlo Stanton. It's something that you really can't argue with either way. Granderson came over from the Yankees to the Yankees from the Tigers in 2010, played there for 10, 11, 12, and 13. He had a good 4-year run there, had a couple of 40 home run seasons, and really fit in there well at Yankee Stadium, using that left porch, that right field porch to his just taking advantage of it over the course of his time there as a Yankee. So definitely have no problem with that. But to me, it's Giancarlo Stanton, not only because it's crazy to think now that he's been a Yankee for 8 years now, and he's hit over 300 home runs as a Yankee at this point. He has just put up phenomenal numbers. And the other thing too, I mean, you have to include Giancarlo Stanton among the best right-handed power hitters in Yankee history at this point. And not only that, one of the better playoff performers they've had. So definitely for me, it's Giancarlo, but can't argue with Curtis Granderson either, though.
Yeah, this one I feel like it was kind of a coin flip I went with on this one.
Yeah, I hear you. So DH is down, and there's going to be a lot of agreeing on the pitching up until the last one, though. So what we did, just in case we did, just in case you're following along, it was catcher. All the positions, the 9 or the 8 fielding positions, along with the designated hitter. We did 5 starters and 3 relief pitchers. So we're down to the final 8 pitchers on this Yankees quarter century team, and so we're gonna kick off. Yeah, what are you gonna say?
This one was a bit hard because I feel like there wasn't many standout pitchers during the quarter century. I feel like maybe the beginning, but then kind of not.
Well, I don't know about that, but let's see. Me and you did a pretty good job, though. We both got CC Sabathia as one of our top guys, no doubt about that. CC with the championship and the length of time that he pitched for the Yankees. I mean, this guy definitely etched his name in Yankee history. You could put him up there with some of the best Yankee left-handed starters, that we've seen at least in the last 50 years. I mean, he'd be up there with the likes of Ron Guidry, Andy Pettitte. I don't know if you're going to necessarily put him in the same league as Whitey Ford or any of those guys from the old days, but CC's right up there, so he deserves his credit, right?
Yeah, exactly. He deserves credit, definitely.
Yeah. So just for time's sake, we'll keep it moving along here. We got Mike Mussina. Me and you both agreed on that. One of the better Yankee pitcher free agent signings that we've seen over the last 20 to 30 years. A lot of those bats work out. Those pitchers are tough. Mike Mussina and Garrett Cole probably top of the list at that. And got to give Mussina credit. The guy never won a ring with the Yankees, unfortunately, but he did win 20 games. And if you remember that 2003 playoff run, he was money for them that whole run. And it's not his fault they didn't win the World Series. So Mike Mussina, a lot of credit to him. He was great as a Yankee.
Yeah, exactly. You got to give credit to everybody.
Yeah. And then obviously when you look at Yankee lefties, we were just talking about him too. Andy Pettitte. Got to be Andy Pettitte. The guy, won multiple championships with the Yankees. He's and in this quarter century, he left for those couple of years with the Houston Astros, but he came back, and I think that's what pushed him over the top.
Yeah, exactly. He came back and he played a big factor into that 2009 championship.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Andy Pettitte pitching the clinching victory too in Game 6, by the way. So now the fourth starting pitcher, Garrett Cole. Me and you both got him. He got the big $300 million deal from the Yankees. He's won a Cy Young. He's pitched in a World Series. You can't say anything more about Garrett Cole. He's been money for the Yankees ever since he signed here.
Yeah, exactly. He's had great seasons ever since he's been with the Yankees.
Yeah. Now, I do want to say this is the one thing we didn't agree on. Is the final pitcher. Bobo took Roger Clemens, while I took Masahiro Tanaka. Now, I took Tanaka. I think Tanaka played a little bit longer during this quarter century. He didn't win a World Series like Clemens did. Clemens was on that 2000 World Series championship team, so Clemens does have a ring to back that up. He also has the 2001 Cy Young Award to back that up as well. So those are two big things for Clemens. I just didn't think Clemens made the cut for me, and to me, I think Masahiro Tanaka played a much bigger role for the Yankees during this quarter century than Clemens did.
Yeah, that's true. Me, I went with Clemens because I feel like he was part of a number of big moments during his time with the during that quarter century, during some big moments during the quarter century, some key years. Of course, the 2000 series, the which I like to forget the 2000 series, and of course the 2000 and 2001, of course. Probably when you could argue with teams that didn't. When you mention teams that didn't great teams that didn't win a World Series, 2001 Yankees without a doubt has to be mentioned. And of course, another one honorable mention teams that didn't win a World Series, 2003 Yankees have to be mentioned in that category.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it, man. You got that right. So definitely two big pieces to the Yankees in this quarter century out there. And now we're going to get to the final three relief pitchers, that is. And obviously, Mariano Rivera.
Yeah.
What else needs to be said?
Yeah, this one was too easy. This one was like, I used to wonder if this guy was human as closer because I've never seen a closer come through with so many moments like this. Because I mean, or maybe it's just part of me being a Met fan with closers giving me near heart attacks. But this guy just made it look closing games look easy and
A
getting the job
0
done.
point. This guy had a 0.70 career postseason ERA. That's all you need to say. And it's not like he only pitched in 5 games. He basically pitched in the playoffs every single year of his career, and he had an ERA of 0.70. So nothing else you can even say. The guy was on a different level.
Yeah, exactly. And Yankee fans probably got a little bit spoiled because since then they've had closers that are pretty much the closers that are human.
Yeah, they've seen a lot of humanity uh, closing games for them over the last few years. And for relief pitcher two, me and you both went with the lefties. You took former Met actually too, but also multiple time World Series champion with the New York Yankees, Mike Stanton. And I took Aroldis Chapman. He was one of those closers that followed in the footsteps of Mariano Rivera. Uh, Even though Chapman had his bad moments with the Yankees too, he was still one of the best relief pitchers in the game during that time span, and I just think he deserved the credit for that. What did you think, Dan?
I just this was a hard one for me to really think of Yankee relievers other than Mariano Rivera because I feel like that's the really only standout reliever from during that time. So I just went with Stanton because he had during a couple of moments in the quarter century he was a key piece in the bullpen.
Makes
Aside from
sense.
Mariano Rivera, he was the key setup man for that.
Definitely, he was. Him and Jeff Nelson right there is the great tag team leading up to Mariano, no doubt about it. And finally, Dan, last Yankee thing before we close up shop here with the Mets team is Jabba Chamberlain for the Yankees. That's definitely a nice little pick. And Dylan Betances is my pick as the former Yankee. I just thought that the dominance of Betances, because us Met fans, we remember how bad he was here when he came here for the Mets. But as a Yankee, he was one of the best relief pitchers in baseball. He was one of the best relief pitchers I've ever seen for a good 4 or 5 year stretch with the Yankees. And as much as I did appreciate the time of Jabba Chamberlain, and I did consider him for this list, I just thought Betances was, the guy there. What did you think, Dan?
Yeah. That's pretty. I could agree with that one. I also probably feel like Jabba Chamberlain also was a big because I feel like aside from closer the quarter century, he got some key outs and some key situations.
Yeah,
And
no
he
doubt about it.
and for a time, people thought he was going to be the one to inherit the closer role after Rivera.
Yeah, that was definitely a big thing, no doubt about it. And the Jabba rules was a big thing, and Jabba Chamberlain was a big deal for the Yankees around that time. And he's also on the 2009 World Series championship team, so he's got a ring in his back pocket as well, which Aroldis Chapman had a ring, but with the Cubs, not the Yankees. So
Yeah,
definitely
exactly. So
keep
I
that
feel
in mind
like
too.
Aroldis Chapman didn't have. he really didn't really have any postseason moments.
No, but that's factored in. But to me, I still think he was a multiple time All Star. He won the Rollies Relief Award as a Yankee, as the best reliever in the league. He had so many big moments that people forget about because of the couple of times he came up short in the postseason. So either way, you can't really lose with any of those guys. Now, Dan, we're going to turn our attention to the Mets. This is the Mets quarter century team now.
This one I
And
had an easy. This one I had an easy time and a hard one because some of them I could have argued two good choices there could have been for some of these positions.
no doubt about it. No doubt about it. It all comes down to taste. But me and you agree with the catcher spot. No doubt
Yep,
about it. I don't think there
yep,
was any way you could have gone. I mean, there was a
yeah.
couple. The only ways you really could have gone, Dan, is if you did, Paul LaDuca, like Travis Darno. Who else are you going to go with? It has to be the Hall of Famer, Mike Piazza, right?
Yeah, you definitely got to go with
Mets
Mike
have acquired
Piazza. So many big
Mike
moments
Piazza.
through the quarter century,
Yeah,
without
I
a
just put this
doubt.
up in the
This is just taking me back to the days of sitting in the upper deck at Shea and going nuts when Piazza like homer. Just that is just taking me back. I was at that game, by the way. That footage is from '98, Piazza's Mets debut. I was there for
That was his
that.
debut. Yeah, I was
And
in
then
school
this
listening to it on my radio.
and this I remember. I remember this. The double out Gary Cohen doing the double. It's out of here.
Off Trevor
Oh yeah,
Hoffman to the opposite field. So I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
absolutely,
There's just
Mike
so many
Hall of
great
Famer,
moments getting a B at.
Hall of Famer Mike Piazza. We got Lee Slater saying Piazza's the best. Oh, I missed this before. Um, Tanaka's work for the Yankees is underrated. Thank you, PhD. You're right about that. And yeah, so Dan, definitely we agree on the Mike Piazza stuff, no doubt about it.
Yeah,
And as we also agree on our first baseman, Pete Alonso, because Pete
yeah.
is, no doubt about it, he's the best Mets first baseman. I mean, the only guy you could have even possibly thought of was, I guess, maybe Carlos Delgado or Lucas Duda, but to me, it's Pete Alonso.
Yeah, he is cementing quite a big Mets legacy. I mean, this guy broke the rookie home run record, the single season. He holds a record with the Mets, the single season home run record for this team, and he's about to break the Mets all-time home run record without a doubt. This guy is he's cementing quite a legacy with the Mets. So you definitely and probably one of the greatest first basemen this team has ever had. And
No
one of the
doubt
greatest homegrown Mets we've had, without a doubt.
Yeah, and let's just hope that they're not dumb enough to let him go after this year. So Pete Alonso gets the credit for being in first base. And Dan, me and you, though, did not see the same thing at second base. Second base, you went with Jeff McNeil, and I went with Daniel Murphy. Dan, what do you think about Jeff McNeil here?
This one, I feel like I had to go with a coin flip on this one because I know Daniel Murphy had that big moment in 2015. I just ended up going with McNeil because he's won like a batting title, maybe, probably.
Yeah, he did.
So yeah, exactly. So I feel like it was just this one was kind of a coin flip for me.
I hear you. I went with Daniel Murphy. You can't really argue either way, but I think, even though as great as Murphy is, or as great as McNeil has been with the Mets, Daniel Murphy, he had so many moments. People forget about even this 2015 run was phenomenal, but people forget that he was one of the best
run
bats on this team from 2009 to 2014. Even before that, he came up and played at first base the year Carlos Delgado got hurt. So it's people and this guy was productive in 2011. He was hitting 320 before he got hurt and had to end this season. So everybody wants to act like Daniel Murphy only had this one run in
But
2015 for the
he
Mets.
had
But
some big
he
moments. I
had a
I,
great run.
I was at this game. I was at this game. This was, I think, either game 1 or game 2 of the
Okay.
NLCS. I was at that game, and I can't forget a notable moment with Daniel Murphy. Remember that game we went to in 2015? It was against the Nationals when the Mets swept the Nationals. It was an
Yep.
ESPN Sunday night game. I showed up on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, spilling my beer when Daniel Murphy hit a home run. I went nuts. I spilled my beer on
Yep. All of
TV.
us.
But he,
All of us
but
did. We
he,
were all pumped up,
and
and
I got text about that. I got text from relatives who were watching that game, said, "Do you spill your beer every time the Mets go nuts at home?"
yep,
They,
yep.
pe,
So
pe, my sisters won't live that one. Let me live that one down. That I was seen on TV spilling my beer.
that's right. And Dan, let's keep it rolling along here. Third base. Third base, I was thinking Ty Wigginton, maybe a little Jose Uribe, I guess you could say, but no, the answer is
This
David
one
Wright.
is definitely the captain, number 5 on the field, number 1 in our hearts. This guy had so many big moments, so many great moments. His number is being retired this weekend. Without a doubt, David Wright is. So you're looking at his MLB debut. I was at this. I was actually at this game. So
And so
seeing
many
this,
great moments. That's his only walk-off home run that came against Heath Bell. Just
yep,
so many great David Wright moments. And
yep. This one,
the game, the All-Star game home run we talked about earlier
yep,
in Pittsburgh.
exactly.
So
He
many
just said
great, and obviously the
this
big
one.
win for Atlanta.
I was at this game. This one I was at. So this one
I don't
just
think you even have to
making.
say you were at this game. We can just assume you were at it, Dan.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember how nuts the upper deck at Shea went with this one, and us just yelling out "Yankees suck" to the Yankee fans as we're walking down those. Remember those ramps at Shea Stadium? We were
Yep,
yelling out
yep.
"Yankees suck" to those Yankee fans as we're walking down the ramps.
No doubt about it. And all right, so we got that. And Dan, I want to also um, keep it going along here too now with the obviously we all love the David Wright one. This one now though is Francisco Lindor and Jose Reyes. Now that's a big debate. I understand you saying Francisco Lindor. A lot of Met fans would probably agree with you right now, but to me, I think everybody just forgets about how great Jose Reyes was as a New York Met. Let's not forget this guy is still right up there at the top of the list in all-time games played, hits, triples, runs scored, stolen bases. He's got single season record for runs scored, single season record for stolen bases, single season record for triples in the season. This guy is, a phenomenal talent. And as great as Lindor is, he's only been here for 4 years. So I don't want
Yeah,
to, as much as I do like Lindor, I want to give credit to Jose Reyes because this guy, let's not forget, he also won a batting title, hitting 337 in his last year here in 2011 before he left to Miami. But he also came back in 2016. So I have to give the edge to Reyes here, but you can't argue with Lindor either.
yeah, exactly. This one I just went with the coin flip on this one because it was hard for me to decide this because he had. I mean, Lindor had some big moments here during his during his time with the Mets and some big postseason moments, and then of course Reyes a holding of the all-time stolen base record with the Mets. This was a
Yeah,
hard one. This was a hard one.
it was, no doubt about it. But then you know what was not a hard one though is the next one we're going to be talking about, and that is Yoenis Cespedes, the left fielder. Yoenis Cespedes, no doubt
Yeah,
about it. This guy had more of an impact on this team than few players we've ever seen. He
yeah,
came in here and had 17 home runs in 55 games that he played for this team in the second half of 2015. He hit 30 plus home runs in 2016, carried them to the playoffs. This guy, say what
yeah.
you want about that deal, Yoenis Cespedes belongs on this list.
Yep, definitely. And plus, we can't forget that playoff game, that NLDS. Remember game 3 NLDS against the Dodgers when he hit
Yep.
that bat flip. I remember. I mean, of course, another one I was there, and like City Field was just. I felt like City Field could, if it could shake, it could shake because that ballpark went nuts when that happened. Being there for that moment, so he just had so many moments, just and such a clutch stretch run he had for us in 2015. You got definitely
Oh,
mention
yeah.
Yoenis
Just look
Cespedes.
at the way
That,
the ball came off his bat, man. The guy, Cespedes was
yeah,
on a
yeah,
different level. Look at that.
yeah, he
Look at that
was just
swag.
on a different. Yup. I
Love it.
still remember this. I think I even still remember going to a park in a park day with Mr. with Mr. and I thought it was funny. Remember how Cespedes had that walk up song with that little thing for the Lion King? I thought it was funny to hold up Mr. Mahoonigan like Simba during when he was at bat when that his walk up music was playing. I thought it was fun. I just did that at random, and I just remember my
I
sister
hear you.
laughing. My sister was cracking up when I did that.
Very cool. All right, let's keep rolling along here with the center field. Dan, you went with Carlos
Yeah,
Beltran, and I followed right
yeah,
there with you. You can't argue with Carlos Beltran here.
yeah. This guy had so many great moments. I mean, if he gets into the Hall of Fame, the Mets probably by default have to retire his number because he was. If he goes, especially if he goes into the Hall as a Met, he has, without a doubt, they probably have to retire his number.
Yeah,
Because
Beltran is right there.
yeah,
No doubt about it.
even though everything, even though that one little moment, but aside, if you take away that one at bat, he had a great career as a Met. So many great moments that made me go nuts and jump out of my seat, and even
Oh,
led
yeah,
to a even led to a Gary Cohen double out of here. I
that's
can't
true.
forget that. And I
That's
even
true.
remember this. One of my favorite Gary Cohen calls, Carlos Beltran is linked to. Right, I recorded this game on my DVR because naturally I was at Shea Stadium when this happened. I was sitting in the Piggick area, the bleachers for this game. Right, when Beltran hit that home run in extra innings, when he said like, "And we can all go home." It was like
The
16 innings that
16th
game.
inning. That's right.
Yeah,
Yep, that's Ryan Madson.
I ended up having I had to see the Gary Cohen call of that, and this is like maybe predated YouTube or something like that. That I could easily. I
No, it's
watched,
2006. That was still YouTube.
yeah. Maybe I didn't think to look it up on YouTube, but I had the game. I had the game recorded, so I think I rewatched it the next day to see that moment. I mean,
That's
I
cool. All right,
saw
we got to
I
keep it
saw
moving along here because this is already one of our longest episodes ever. We got to wrap this up pretty quickly. Going to right field, Bobo, and takes Brandon Nimmo, and I take Curtis Granderson. You know, Nimmo, can't argue with Nimmo, man. The guy's been here for basically a decade. He's a homegrown Met. The guy's played great here. Even in the playoffs, he's played great. But to me, Curtis Granderson, I think, kind of steals it. He
yeah
was so valuable here in his time, especially as a leadoff hitter. And how many times during that 2015 playoff run did Curtis Granderson set the tone in a game by leading off with a home run or getting a big hit? I think Granderson belongs on there, but why'd you take Nimmo?
this one was kind of a coin flip. I feel like. I feel like this one was a coin flip, and that's what I ended up doing because it was a hard one to decide.
It was no doubt about it because I definitely was tempted to take Nimmo as well, but you can't argue with Nimmo or Granderson at that point. So keep it moving along here to the DH now. Dan. Now DH for the Mets. Let's be honest. There is no DH that the Mets didn't have the DH until 2022. So
Yeah,
we're just gonna go basically with a guy we want to give a shout out to here that we enjoyed playing. Dan, you're gonna give a shout out to Cliff Floyd. I love Cliff. He's one of my favorite Mets of the last 20, 25 years. And I'm gonna give it to Carlos Delgado. Delgado had a lot of big moments here. Let's not forget he was by far the Mets' best hitter during that 2006 playoff run. His numbers, go back and look. He's like a 350 career hitter as a Met in the playoffs. So that's one of the reasons why I gave it to Delgado.
This one was a hard one to come up with because I feel like Cliff Floyd had some big moments and with the Mets, and then and of course Delgado. This one was a hard one, but I could see the argument for both, especially Delgado. He had some big moments in the only postseason he ever got to be in. By the way,
Yeah, it's true. That's true. So shout out to both those guys. Obviously enjoyed both of them while they're playing here. So finally, we're going to wrap up with our last 8 players on the Mets list. The last 8 positions: 5 starting pitchers, 3 bullpen guys. We'll start off. Me and you agree on most of these, Dan. So we're going to speed through them for the most part. Starting pitcher 1. I mean, come on, DeGrom. It's a slam dunk.
DeGrom was next level. We haven't had a pitcher pitching on this level in ages. Since we haven't had a pitcher like this since DeGrom left. He was just like I did not want to miss when he started. I remember once being bummed out when I had a ticket to a Mets game and it got rained out just because DeGrom was going to be the starting pitcher that day when the game got rained out. And I thought that would have been nice for my first Mets game since Citi Field reopened, post pandemic in 2021. Would have been nice to have seen DeGrom pitch that game, the first Met game I got to attend since the last game of 2019 because there was no fans at 2020, so that would have been nice, but that didn't work out. But DeGrom was next level, and it was a big deal if you had a ticket and DeGrom was starting. It was a big deal.
No doubt about it. And Jacob DeGrom, between the 2 Cy Youngs, the way he pitched in the 2015 playoffs, and getting the win in the only win the Mets got in the 2022 playoffs against the Padres, slam dunk. Keep it moving along now to the Dark Knight, Matt Harvey. Me and you got him. Bobo takes him, and I take him. Obviously, Dan, the guy started the All-Star game. One of the most, he took this city by storm and then dominated in the playoffs as well. I'll never forget Game 5 of the World Series. It'll go down as a loss, but what Matt Harvey did to the first 8 innings of that game will go down in Met history.
Yeah, without a doubt. I really wish the Mets could have won that game. Harvey that guy was next level when he was. Matt Harvey in his prime was just a game changer. Like, I hadn't seen anything like this with a homegrown Mets pitcher in a while until we saw Harvey. And it almost makes you wish he could have stuck around longer and maybe made better decisions in his career that could have let him continue. Yeah. He is without a doubt a great Met, and he was nice enough to fist bump me. I was sitting in the lower bowl at Citi Field. And you know how sometimes behind the lower bowl, like a little bit above the lower bowl, there was these luxury suites. Yeah. Well, right behind me, I noticed Matt Harvey was right behind me. I said, "Yeah, Harvey," and he gave me a fist bump.
Very cool. Very cool.
That was pretty.
The Dark Knight.
This was this year, so I thought that was pretty. I thought that was pretty cool. That Harvey gave me a fist bump and showed the appreciation from the Met fans like myself.
Very cool. Let's keep rolling along here now, Dan. Number 3, me and you both got Noah Syndergaard. I don't think you can really argue either way with Noah Syndergaard. The guy not only did he throw the 2016 National League Wild Card game where he dominated, only allowing just a couple of hits, 7 shutout frames that the Mets should have backed him up on. Then the 2015 Game 3, he gets the only win at the stadium. And
but that game, the crazy thing is we're mentioning 2 games I was at. I got to see.
It's crazy. You've only said that about every game.
I know. It's just like I go to see. Let's face it. I go to Citi Field a lot, so I so that's gonna happen with some of these players.
So we both got Noah Syndergaard there for 3. And let's keep it going, Dan, for number 4 now. Bartolo Colon is your pick, while I got Johan Santana. Santana with the no-hitter and just, one of the better pitchers that we've seen for the Mets over the last 20 years or so. I think pushed Santana over. Obviously, Bartolo Colon is one of the most beloved pitchers the Mets have had over the last couple of decades. So, what was your thinking here?
This one was a coin flip. I feel like because I feel like Santana maybe had maybe one, maybe 2 good years with the Mets. He got on.
Well,
I mean, he was great, and then I mean, he was good. Santana was that good, and another one, Cologne. This was a coin flip. I ended up going with Cologne because I feel like he was very consistent as a starting pitcher during his time with the Mets. I feel like.
I hear you. I hear you. Santana, I think, was better for longer than you're giving him credit for. But I hear you. You can't argue with Cologne either. And then finally, Pedro Martinez was your pick for the last one, and I picked Tom Glavine. I think Tom Glavine has really been underappreciated by Met fans, mostly because of his final start in a Met uniform where he got blown out in the final game of the 2007 season. But that wasn't his. He had a bad start that day, no doubt about it. But people forget how great Tom Glavine was, and not only that, in the 2006 playoffs, Tom Glavine was great too. He had one bad game in Game 5 in St. Louis, but other than that, I think Tom Glavine definitely should be on this list. Pedro Martinez had a really good 2005 and started really good in '06, but unfortunately the injuries kind of caught up to him.
Yeah, this one was a tough one for me because I feel like both of them. I think maybe what maybe caused me to go with Pedro was maybe remembering a little bit during his time with the Mets how that the buzz it had during some of his best years with the Mets. I remember and at Shea during that time.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, man. No doubt about it. So you can really go. And then me and you agreed with all three relief pitchers. We'll bang this out real quick. The final three, Edwin Diaz is our pick here. I mean, look, the guy, no doubt about it, has to be on this list between 2022, between this year. He had that really bad 2019, but ever since then, Edwin Diaz has been one of the best relief pitchers the Mets have ever had.
Yeah, I feel like he's one of the most consistent closers the Mets have had, without a doubt.
Yeah. And then we also agreed on Jerry's Familia taking that spot. Familia, who was the Mets closer for quite a few years in the late teens there up until the 20s. But Familia, he battled injuries and everything at times, but definitely deserved it. He had a couple of bad moments, game one of the World Series and the wild card game the following year. But other than that, Jerry's Familia was a pretty solid pick for the Mets.
Yeah, he was putting up some numbers we hadn't seen as a Met closer.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He has the all-time single-season save record for the Mets.
Yeah. So I figured I had to put that someone who had to when it came to relievers, and this is a tough one with our history with relief pitchers, some in Mets, but he had pretty legendary numbers that season.
That's right. That's right, man. And then finally, we both went with Billy Wagner. Bobo takes Billy Wagner. I take Billy Wagner, the Hall of Famer this year, which we could talk about that another time if he actually deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. But Billy Wagner was definitely a good Met. He had a couple of really good years here, and 2006 he was phenomenal. He battled injuries a little bit too, but I think he definitely deserves to be on this list. So Taguchi, not invited.
Yeah, without a doubt, he was definitely one of the best closers we had. He had some big moments, and I feel like our season may have turned out a bit different in '08 had he not been injured.
Oh, no doubt about it. I agree.
Yeah. Once he was out for the season, it turned out to be everything but the kitchen sink.
Yeah,
With our
the bullpen.
and
Yeah, you have
and
Luis Ayala closing games there. It wasn't too good.
and I feel like that entire September, the bullpen in September cost us that
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. So that's going to wrap up our Mets quarter century team.